So welcome to Swiss Esports Arena, and my guests for today are xReal. I finally managed to get a Red Instinct player on the show, which I should have done a long while ago, because Red Instinct is one of, if not the best CSGO team in Switzerland. So welcome xReal, and for my other guest, I have someone that always delivers in every show I can have for every topic, a guy that always is here to come on the show. So welcome LyNeX. And the topic for today's show will be the Swiss Esports League Fall Season 2020, and with a focus on the playoffs and the finals. So my first question will be to xReal, and be honest, be honest. Did you think that did you expect to meet Paramice in the finals and not Kings?
Um, well, I mean, if we speak about the playoffs in itself, we kind of figured that it could be someone else than Kings, but at the time where there was the matchup between Kings and Paramice, we were actually pretty sure that Kings would win the matchup, and then they would go straight to finals. So we got quite surprised that they lost against Paramice in finals. However, we noticed when we first played against them on the in the season, in the regular season, we beat them, and we were not really playing exactly as good as we used to do. So yeah, we kind of figured out that they probably had some issues on their side as well. So at the beginning, we were not expecting them to lose, but then we were not surprised, basically.
Now, LyNeX, did you think Paramice would make it to the finals?
To be honest, no. Just because I think Kings has very, very strong individuals. But obviously, if you look at Paramice, they also have very, very strong individuals. You can't deny that. I was surprised that Paramice won against Kings, but it isn't like the biggest upset, I would say. I knew it was possible because if you look at the players in Paramice, like Norelia, Yahiko, and so on, all these guys, they can carry a game on their own if they're on point. I guess it was just a very good game or good best of three from Paramice, and maybe not the best of Kings. But yeah, it was a little surprise, yes.
So during the regular season, both of you drew 1-1 against Paramice. So, to be honest, without being disrespectful to the players, I don't know any of the players. I don't know the org, if you can call it like that. So could you tell me, who are the players? What are their strengths? What are the unique points? Who are Paramice? And tell me who Norelia is, because I heard a lot of good things about Norelia.
You start.
All right. Okay. So basically, there are Swiss players that I know some of them for pretty long time. Norelia, I've heard of him actually, and we played against him several times in the past Swisscom seasons and the SEL season. But I'm not really used. I don't know them individually very well. Basically, not I'm very familiar with the Kings players, of course, with LyNeX, with a lot of Swiss players. But those players, they are a bit under the radar, if I can tell it like this way. Basically, they're not very known figure of the Swiss scene, except for Norelia. I've heard also a lot of things about him. But yeah, basically, I don't know them personally. Now, on their strengths as players, one thing that I've definitely noticed is that they are very decent skill-wise. Basically, when you compare them to the majority of the Swiss players, they are really alright. But to be honest, I don't really know much about their game style or whatever, because we just focus on our play when we play against them, and that's it.
Now, LyNeX, do you know a little bit more about them? I know you know a lot about, or not a lot, but you know something about Norelia, right? At least.
I know most of them personally. I think Yahiko is Kleppy. I think he changed his name, but I'm unsure about that. I've played with Norelia and Kleppy on LAN already, which we won. So I know they're very good, especially Norelia. He played first division in Germany in 99 damage. So he definitely he's definitely above the average Swiss skill level in my opinion, just because you wouldn't otherwise make it that far. And also Kleppy, he's a monster. He can just press W, in my opinion, and just run in and bulldoze his team apart. But also the rest, Marboy is good, Mori is good. Yeah, basically everyone in their lineup that I remember of are good. But when we played them, Norelia didn't play, if I remember correctly. So that definitely helped us, I would say, back then.
So now, Paramice, we now know them or know them better, but the other team, Red Instinct, is a team that everyone knows. But I would still like if some, or maybe xReal, could you quickly introduce Red Instinct? Maybe we have some people that don't know you.
Basically, we've been playing for a long time in the first division. I actually joined them, I don't know, I think it was 3 years ago, maybe 2 years and a half, I don't really know. Like at the very beginning, we used to play with a different, like pretty different lineup from the ones, the one that we are playing today. Basically, we used to play with Maniac and a lot of Swiss guys, and then most of them, like due to mostly work-related reasons, they stepped down from the game, and we had to replace them. And in the end, this season at least, we hired two of my French friends, which are xReal and xReal. And we are also playing with Dexon and Alex, who are the like they've been there since the beginning, since way longer than me actually.
Is there anything you want to add to that, LyNeX?
Yeah, well, like we've been pretty successful. We've won a lot of finals in Switzerland, whereas Swiss championships or Swisscom, and basically that's it. So yeah, I guess on the CS:GO scene, we've been pretty present for sometimes.
Now, is there anything you want to add, LyNeX?
I agree. They have been around for a long time. I mean, when I started to play, Red Instinct was around, and when I started to get better, they were still around, and they're still around today. And I still didn't manage to beat Red Instinct until now, which hopefully at one point will change, because if not, it's kind of getting depressing now. But yeah, they've been around. They've won pretty much everything you can win at least once, I would say. So yeah, they're definitely on top.
I think we touched on the Red Instinct versus LyNeX rivalry in another video even.
Yes.
But now let's get to the playoffs journey of Red Instinct. So in your first game in the upper bracket, you actually had to play Kings in the first match because you were 4th place, because you lost 6 points during the season. Why was that?
Yes. Oh, it was a very complicated situation. Basically, if I recall correctly, which I probably do, but it's been a long time since then. Basically, we lost, I think, 3 points, like 2 points, because Alex didn't sign up the players on time. So that was the first 2 points we lost. Then there was a very big issue, like related to the whole structure of how the rules are. Basically, there is a rule in the SEL, which is that you are forced to play on a specific date on a specific day. All right. So I have my own opinion about this rule, and I will probably state it later, in the resume or whatever. But basically, the big issue is that we were told that we had to play on Wednesdays every week on Wednesdays. If I recall correctly, maybe it was Fridays, but I don't know. And then as soon as they said that, we told them straight away, no, we can't do that. There is like 1 week where we have like several ESC advanced officials, and we just can't play it. And we actually stated that like 3 weeks prior to the match. And yeah, basically we told them we couldn't play 3 weeks before, as soon as they told us like it would be Wednesdays. And they didn't do anything about it. We ended up giving up the game, and because of this, we had 2 more penalty points. And now there is a rule in the SEL, which is that if you already lost 3 points of penalty, you will get 3 more points of penalty. So it was 6, and then it was 9. So we ended up with 9 penalty points, I think, or 6. I don't
It
know.
should have
I
been
don't
6.
recall
It should
correctly.
have been 6.
You've got
Uh,
9 penalty points, but you lost 6 points on the
Exactly.
table.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay.
So yeah, it was a very frustrating situation to be in. We talked about it to the admins. They were very professional, of course, and they explained us that they couldn't do anything about it. But then, basically we discussed about the future of those rules and stuff like this, and yeah, basically that's it. So yeah, that's the reason we lost so many points, and when we ended up at the 4th place.
To be honest, at first I thought you lost the points because there's no Red Instinct logo on the website. It's just this white image.
There was that as well, and I still don't know to this day why the logo wasn't updated, because I told Alex to send it on the first day, and I think it is. So that got lost in translation, I guess. But yeah, it's been a very hectic season, basically.
I hope it's fixed until tomorrow at least. So
Yeah,
LyNeX,
I hope so.
did you think when you saw they lost 6 points that they would even make it to the playoffs? Because it was pretty close, I think, at the end.
It was really close. It was really close.
I think
And that's
3
what-
points less.
and especially at the very beginning, I was like, yeah, I know that this season we are not gonna be as good as we usually do because we have some problems on the other way. And I was like, yeah, this is really doomed. Like, we're gonna have to really put a tough fight to get in the playoffs.
Well, for me, I wasn't scared for Red Instinct because I know they could win it probably against anyone. In my head, it was only like, well, if they beat Kings, they'll be on top anyway. Because in my mind, I was like, Kings will probably win every game, and only Kings would be the one that could reach them skill-wise. And if they would have reached them skill-wise and both would have won everything, like Kings would have won everything, and Red Instinct would have won everything. But then Rins beat Kings, they would have the same amount of points. But in the direct, when they played each other, since Rins won, they were probably first and Kings second. So I was never afraid that they wouldn't make it. But yes, it was very close in the end because I think you had some draws as well.
Yeah, well, basically we beat Kings, so I was like, okay, maybe this could do, right?
Yeah.
And then we ended up getting like a lot, like basically the end of the season was a disaster, and we had a lot of draws. So yeah, that was really tough.
That was. I was never afraid that you wouldn't make it, in my opinion. But yeah, if you look at it now, it was close. Yes.
So we will touch on the last season game, especially later, because you lost there, 2-0 even. But we will touch on that later. So first of all, in the finals, in the playoffs, you played against Kings in the upper bracket and you lost in a convincing 2-0 fashion. Or maybe not convincing, but you lost 2-0 after you won 2-0 against them, I think, in the regular season. So explain to me what happened in this game. xReal.
Well, I feel like we need to, specify how the whole season went for us, because otherwise, you need to know how the context was at that time. So basically, when we played the Swisscom EuroLeague finals, Dexon had to replace Alex, who was stuck in Spain because of the COVID situation. But at that time, he hadn't played Counter-Strike for like 6 months or a year, like not at all. He didn't play at all. So we had to play the finals with him. And then after the finals, he told me that he wanted to play again, and he was really excited about playing again. And he likes being on stage again and stuff like this. So I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And we ended up also playing with XReal and xReal. So that was the start of the season. Unfortunately, both Danny is Dexon, obviously. Danny and Alex, they are very busy with their personal life and their work, so we have no time to practice. And both of them, they can't really play much. Like they really can't play at all, basically. So they're just playing, showing up for the officials, playing some Faceit sometimes when they can, but it's really tough for them. So let's start with the regular season. If we look at the matches of the regular season, and especially the start of the season, it was somehow okay. We beat Kings first match, then we beat Mind Sanity, We were like 3 wins to like 1 draw. We already had at the penalty points at that point, so it was still looking a bit scary, but we definitely thought that we would make it through. And then like the end of the season was a disaster. Like we started to somehow choke by getting draws, which is all right because it's only draws, it should be fine. But since we had so many penalty points, it was really a disaster. And basically at the very end we lost to Babos, if I recall correctly.
Yeah,
I think
2-0
so.
last series.
So overall, we could say that we had a pretty decent result, right? But it is not like it's nowhere near what we achieved in the past seasons, basically. So obviously we were not really happy with the situation and the results we had, but we decided to keep calm and move on. And so basically that's it. So that's it for the regular season. And then the playoffs, we got Kings first, okay? So we already beat them in the regular season, and then we have to play them again.
But wait, just focus on the first series.
The first series.
Yeah, against Kings.
So it's the first playoff match, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. So basically, like we have all this history of, like tough season and like generally not really great results. Plus some things that went south for like reasons that were nowhere near our responsibility. So we are like really choky. I think our mentality was not good. We were a bit, like more stressed than usual, I would say. And on top of that, Alex and Danny, they've really like no time to practice. So they really need to focus on their individual skill, and we can't really talk about tactics or stuff like this because it's just out of the picture right now. So yeah, basically we knew it would be tough, but we did not expect to lose, to be honest. I thought we would do like 16-14 and 16-13, something like that. It really went south. To be honest, the game they were a disaster. We played really bad. I think we, like, as much as I stated last time when we played the Swiss Com Euro League, that it was probably the best match that we ever played on the Swiss scene for a very long time, at least. I don't know like the whole history, but this matchup right there was really a clown fiesta, in my opinion. Like we were not playing well. Kings were not playing well as like they were not playing well as well. And don't get me wrong, I love those guys, right? But we just could feel that something was off. But then still they were showing up like they were really better than us. So yeah, basically it's a completely deserved loss. Our mentality was wrong. We were not focusing on the correct things, and yeah, basically that's it.
So LyNeX, if you would have to bet on this first series of the playoffs, would you have bet on Red Instinct or Kings?
Well, this is hard in hindsight because you know what happened. If I would have to bet money on when I didn't know the result or anything, if I would have known both lineups, and I've also known that Danny wasn't playing all that much for the last couple of months because I talked to him sometimes, I probably would have put money on. That's hard to say.
It's a coin toss.
It is a coin toss because if Danny and Alex play, I would definitely put money on Red Instinct because I think Rigon is not playing for Kings as in the SHL. In the SHL, I would put money instantly on Kings because Rigon, obviously. Here, if I knew that Danny would have been playing, I would have put money on Red Instinct because Danny wasn't playing. I would probably put my money on Kings, but by about this much, like really. And it could have gone other way, each way basically, and we saw it in the regular season where Red Instinct beat Kings. So it's not like a definite who will win. It's more around the circumstances and who was playing, how much, and the mentality, as xReal said.
So some behind the scenes factors also played a big role in this series, but I think it was good for you to get the Kings in the first round because you got fucked. And it showed you, hey, we have to play for real now. We have to fix our mentality and all. And then you had to play against Babos. And you won 2-0. Lower bracket first round against Babos 2-0. And your last season game was against Babos and you got stomped 16-3, 16-4. these were hard stomps against Babos. So what happened in the last game of the season against Babos? And yeah, how did you come back in the playoffs against them? How did you win suddenly?
Yeah, well, first of all, as you stated, basically the fact that we got Kings on the first match of the playoff was really lucky for us, because like we lost and it didn't really matter, and then we beat them and they were out and not us, so that was really lucky for us. Like basically the last game with Babos, we were completely tilted on the regular season, and we just the mentality was just wrong, and that's the big reason. And before going to the playoff, like after we beat Kings, we just united together, and we talked a bit about all the stuff that was going wrong and stuff like this, and we just set our mindsets good again, and yeah, we played not especially way better like skill wise or whatever, but the team play was really there, and we really basically when we played the last game of the season against Babos, it just felt like we were not even trying. We were trying, obviously, because we're not really toxic or whatever, but it just felt that people, they were confused at what they were supposed to do, and not sure how it would evaluate from this situation, from this point. So yeah, basically we really managed to step up on the last match on the playoff match against Babos, because we just we played team play, and we really got back on our horses basically.
So LyNeX, if I would have called you 10 minutes before this series, yo, bro, who wins? Babos or Babos or Rins? You would still have said Rins, I think, right? Because they have still been the favorites, even though Babos got second. Or would you say otherwise?
Well, to be honest, I was surprised about the last game of Red Instinct and Babos with the scores, because I'm like, what the fuck happened there, if I can be honest. Because we played against Babos and we also lost, but we had also problems whilst playing this season, obviously. So I knew that something it couldn't be right, something in Red Instinct. I mean, it was, for me, it was obvious. Obviously, I don't know what it was, but it was obvious, because I don't think that Babos beat Red Instinct in that dominant of a fashion in the normal game. So I would be unsure if it would be wise to bet on the Red Instinct after that, obviously, just because, well, they lost to Babos, then they lost to Kings, just lost at the last games, which for me would have been like, oof, they probably won't have the best mentality in my eyes, but obviously they had, which is good, which is needed. So it's for me, it would have been a coin toss again, seriously, because I know Babos had the hype, was ready, brought in emotions from last time, but the Red Instinct in the end was able to bring it home. So I would have still probably bet on Red Instinct, just because I think it was I wouldn't say it was a fluke, just a one hit, not a one hit wonder, but I don't think that Babos would beat Red Instinct again in such dominant fashion anytime soon. They can beat them, because Babos isn't bad. They're good in my eyes, but I don't think if both teams play normally or on their peak, it would never be a 16-3 for any team in my eyes.
So let's go on with the playoffs journey of Red Instinct. So in your next game, you surprisingly had to play against Kings, and not in the finals, but in the fucking lower bracket, because Kings lost to Paramice in a close 2-1 series. And then the classic Red Instinct versus Kings final we have had for the last, I think, 2 years, right? Like, it was gone. This season we will have something different. So you won 2-1 against Kings, even after losing in the upper bracket. So tell us about this series. How did it go down? What were your emotions during the game? Like, I think you won the first map, then you lost the second, and then you won Nuke at the end, right?
Yeah, basically I remember this match pretty good actually. The first map was like Dust 2. We won like 16-3 or 16-4, I think.
It was pretty close, I think 16-6 or so.
Yeah, and basically we just had all the match was it was a no match, not because they didn't play good or whatever, but we are just all the good callings, all the good gambles. You know, like Dust 2 is a really like you gamble type of map, and we really like outplayed them mind wise and got lucky as well. So basically, the map was it was over in 30 minutes. Then on Inferno, they played really well. We made a lot of mistakes. We were a bit excited about winning against Dust 2, like winning Dust 2, I guess. And we made a lot of mistakes. We should have won that map. We didn't in the end. We had all the good rounds that we won on the T side, and then on the CT side, no, it was the other way around actually. We had a really decent CT side, and then on the T side, we just didn't manage to find the answers on how to win rounds and stuff like this. So yeah, and then we knew that Nuke was coming. So obviously I was not worried at all because I think Nuke is probably our strongest map. And then we had a really good showing from everybody. Dexon played really, really good because we've been like for this whole season we've asked him to like drop down from oping because he's usually oping, but since he can't really discuss strategies and stuff like this, we just need to use him as a riffler, and he played really good. Same with Alex, and yeah, basically that last map went really good. I was not too worried about it, and yeah, we won.
So LyNeX, did you watch this series?
Yes, if I remember correctly, Dust 2 was even King's pick and Inferno was your pick, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when I was watching it, obviously, and I was like, whoa, that Dust 2 was pretty hard for Kings, probably, mentally, because it was a stump. I mean, but like xReal said, it was just lucky, or it is a gamble map, and if you just have the luck or the read, even doesn't need to be luck, you'll just win it. And they definitely had the upper hand on Dust 2. I was surprised on Inferno that they lost, because I knew Inferno was also one of their good maps from Red Instinct, so I was kind of surprised there. But Nuke, I thought that Red Instinct will win it. To be honest, if I would have bet money on that match, I would have put it on Red Instinct, in my opinion, especially the second games. Yeah.
Now another question for xReal. So after you won against Kings, you must have thought, okay, Kings is out of the way. And according to the stats, without being disrespectful to Paramice, of course, they are a good team. But just look at the stats. If Kings is out of the tournament, Red Instinct has won the tournament. If Red Instinct is out of the tournament, Kings has won the tournament. So after getting Kings out of the way, did you think, okay, we won the trophy, it's won? Was that your feeling?
Actually, not really. We don't know for a fact what's gonna happen, and like I mean, before going into matches, I always think I'm gonna win because I'm the captain, and I really need to like have that mentality, because if I think we're gonna lose, then we're doomed.
Yeah, of course.
But basically, I feel like it's I don't know how to feel about Paramice. I feel like both Kings and us, we had a really, really rough season, and they managed to successfully take advantage of it. So props to them for that. But I feel like the result of the final will greatly depend on how we play, not really how they do. Like basically, if we show the same level that we've played this season, I think we are doomed. Like I'm talking about the like regular season, because we played much better in the last playoff games. Because they are still good players for sure, like they've been around, they are clicking, they are there, and that's it. So that's a fact. But if we play like we usually do, like in the last seasons, in the Swisscom playoffs and stuff like this, I'm pretty confident we will beat them. But I really can't tell for a fact that we're gonna win this final. And I'm not really, I'm not really happier facing Paramice in the finals that I would be with Kings.
Oh, big respect to Paramice, that means. So one more question before we get into the finals discussion. So is there a team that you thought they should have been in the playoffs but didn't get to the playoffs?
To be honest, not really, because I think maybe wait, how are they called again?
I
The
think
French team,
Fragbox.
Fragbox. Yeah, did they go to the playoffs or not? No,
They were fifth.
they were fifth. Okay, yeah, maybe them. They
Almost
could have.
knocked you out because of the penalty points, eh?
Yeah, exactly. So maybe them, they could for a fact have been in the playoffs, but the rest, I think it was just they were losing every match. I think the last three teams were really losing almost every matches or just getting draws, so they were not really close to getting to the playoff. So yeah, basically maybe Fragbox. Fragbox had a really decent showing, and on top of that, as you've said, we had the penalty points, and then we also drew against them. So it could have been close. Like it was close in the end. They could have ended up in the playoffs.
I think 3 points more, and they would have
Yeah,
been.
yeah,
Ah, no, you had the better round difference then. So
yeah. We
your
had
round
some
difference was the
insane.
second best in the league. So
We had an insane round difference.
LyNeX, what do you want to say? If I can ask you that.
About the playoffs.
Yeah, it's if there was a team
Well-
that should have been there.
Well, if you're talking about skill-wise or just how the season unfolded, I think xReal is correct. I mean, in my opinion, the teams that should have made it to the playoffs made it to the playoffs in the end. That
Yeah.
the teams that definitely deserved it in my eyes, since they all played good. Obviously, I would have liked to see us again there, since we did it the last couple of times. But just this season was, really wasn't our season for multiple reasons, obviously. So I would have liked to see us, but who doesn't want to see himself in the playoffs? But I think everyone who is in the playoffs is absolutely deserved.
So
Yeah, and basically, my Insanity, if they played at the same level they used to play, they would have deserved. But this season was off for them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was a horrible season. We'll just delete that of our memory and just keep on going.
yeah, I would have loved to see my Insanity there as well. Big LyNeX fan, fanboy and all. But one team that surprised me was, according to the Hero League, one team that should have been in the playoffs would be Sparks. We now know they had internal issues, but if I would have asked you at the start of the season, before one game was played, didn't you think Sparks would make it? Because they
No.
were one of the best teams in the Hero League. That's my reasoning. But maybe I'm
Well,
dumb. Tell me.
I mean, like talking about it now, yeah, you could argue that. But first of all, I hate to make predictions, so most of the times, I just go in and I try my best, and then I
Yeah.
just see at the end of the season what's in. So I didn't really think about it at the start of the season. And then I know they can be dangerous, but I think they are missing a lot of tactical depth. So I think it's not really surprising. There are people that could really upset almost any team in the first league division, but I think they are lacking something to be really dangerous, basically.
LyNeX, anything to add to that? Or
Well, making predictions, as xReal said, I don't like to do them because they're dangerous. They're very dangerous.
yeah.
And what I also think is important is, he said he's a team captain, and then he has to have the mentality like, yeah, we're going to win, guys, and you have to push that. But I think what often also happens is that people underestimate certain teams, and if you underestimate a team, you're already on the back foot, in my opinion, and that's something that I am really never did. I never underestimated any team, because I know I've won against teams that have underestimated me or my team at that point in time. So I always tell the guys, if we just play our game as always, we'll win. But don't be cocky or whatever, and just do what we always do, and we'll be fine. Then we'll win. So about Sparks in the playoffs, I personally would have said no, but that is just because I knew we played against them in the Hero League, and when we played against them, we played so bad. Like, in my opinion, we played really bad. They played good, but we played so much worse than we normally do. So I knew that if we play our normal game, we would beat them. So for me, they would have, because of us, fall out of the playoff spot fight. But otherwise, no, don't think they could have made it. Yes, but yeah, they have problems like every other team has, and it's just not possible.
So now we talked about the playoffs, about the regular season, but now I think the most interesting part is the final, right? So I want to ask you who wins the final and the score. I think xReal, I already know your answer. I have a prediction. But LyNeX, what would you say? You just said you love making predictions, so
This is dangerous. This is very dangerous. If Red Instinct plays like they normally always do, which I hope they will, I say it's going to be a win for Red Instinct. I'll say a 2-1 Red Instinct.
what, 2-1?
If 2-1 Red Instinct, yes, just because anything can happen.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
if the only reason I see why Red Instinct could lose is, like Brian said, if they don't play the normal game, which obviously can happen, or if Norelia once again makes a monster performance, which also could be, since I know him and he's just a monster sometimes. So the only two options are that either Red Instinct win if they play normal, or they don't, sadly, because they don't play normal, or Norelia just steamrolls. That's the only two options, but I think 2-1 Red Instinct.
Now, xReal, I think I know the answer. Do you want to save 2-0 or 2-1? Is it worth asking?
I think I really agree with LyNeX there. I think it's all gonna depend, and I really couldn't give you an answer. Like, it just, there's so much factors to take into consideration that it's a coin toss, like always. Yeah, basically I can't really make a prediction about that.
So, LyNeX, you're the guy I can have on every show and you can always talk a lot. So, now I want you to be Sponge or to be Maniac, just be a pundit. So argue for why Paramice will win the final.
Well, Paramice could win the final because they definitely found weaknesses in every team they played, in my opinion. They really could have used mistakes made by other teams, and they have strong individual players, and I'm pretty sure that Norelia has made some very good calls or just found gaps which normally other players just wouldn't find, in my opinion. So I think it will heavily depend on if Norelia and Kleppy can make their entries or find the gaps that they need. And if they do that, it could be a close game.
Now for the other team. Now be completely biased, completely aggressive. Why will Red Instinct win?
Well, they have pretty much won everything. Like I said at the start, they've won everything they could have won in Switzerland. Yeah, and I think they have so strong individuals, and if they just play their game as always, they're just so dominant, and it's very hard to play against them. And if they do that, they'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, I would bet on Red Instinct, to be honest, as well. Like, it's like you bet against Astralis and it's just dumb. They like almost win, and Team Liquid, which is Kings, isn't there. So yeah, I think Red Instinct should win. Now, first of all, LyNeX, tell me, what should we expect from this series? What kind of CS? Why should we be hyped? Why should we watch the final?
I hope it will be an aggressive CS. Fast CS, I can also imagine, because I think Paramice definitely has the players to play fast and go for those really aim duels. But also Red Instinct can definitely do the same. But I know that Red Instinct, every player of them, they know they have a great knowledge of Counter-Strike, so they don't have to play fast. They can also play very strategic. So I'm hoping to see a nice balance from Red Instinct between the fast plays and some, not executes, but let's say nice tactically played rounds. And from Paramice, I'm really hoping to see a bit more fast-paced CS. So we can see those aim duels come into play.
Now, xReal, what should we expect from the finals? Like the same question, but also Ed, why should we cheer for you?
I mean, I think like a very big strength we have when we're playing in the league is that we have a really stronger map pool that most of the teams that are playing there. This probably includes Paramice as well. So it's always gonna be a tough veto for them, because we can basically play every map. We have a single ban that we do every time, and then every other map we can play. and I don't think they can play every map in the game. So we always have this huge advantage, which is against Kings, for instance, that we can just pick nuke against Kings, and then they can't really like follow us there. So even if they play really good, we probably will have the leads because of one of the maps. And then I think, yeah, basically it's gonna be a really interesting match to follow, because there could be so much happening, and I think it's gonna be really a great show, basically.
And why should we cheer for you? Will you get back that Swiss Esports League title?
Because we are the best.
Oh,
Okay. Oh,
good one.
okay. That's good. That's good. And it's true. Like the stats don't lie from the recent years. So I think that's it for the finals. Now some more questions, not too much, but one question or something I would think could be interesting is: was there a team in the season that surprised you? Either good, like, oh wow, I didn't think they would be this good, but they were. Or was there maybe a team that you thought, okay, I thought they were good, but shit, they fucked up? Was there a team that surprised you? LyNeX, you want to start, or xReal? If you
Not just go ahead, LyNeX.
Paramice impressed me, really.
Yeah, for sure.
I knew they were good players. I definitely knew that. But I didn't think they'll come to the finals. So they surprised me there. Good job. But they totally deserved it. Teams that have underperformed. Let me just check. 1 sec.
Maybe Jersey Boys, I think. Or
yeah,
they were
true.
sixth,
Actually,
I think.
yeah, Jersey Boys, true. Yeah, since we played against them, Jersey Boys, I would have also expected to be a bit higher, to be honest. They were even below us, I see. Yeah, so I definitely would have thought more of Jersey Boys, since they played good in Hero League. They were even below us now, which for me was a bit surprising. But the team that definitely surprised me most was Paramice, and also Babos, I might add. Babos also played very strong, in my opinion. They really held down that W key and just ran it in, and it did work for them. So yeah, those two teams definitely surprised me in a good way.
xReal?
Well, yeah, I guess Paramice did a really good season. Again, I think it's because the usual top performers were not in the best conditions to play, and I'm not too sure if we just like the next season how it's gonna be and such. But I could definitely say that I noticed that Kings are in a slump as well. Obviously, they're still very good players, and they are still very dominant, stuff like this, but they are going from such a high position in Switzerland that just not being in the final is already a big issue for them, just as it would have been for us if we were knocked off in the group stage or in the playoff. So basically, I don't know what's going on their sides, but since our level got worse this season and we still managed to beat them when we got matched against them, unless except for the first match of the playoff. I don't think they're playing at their usual level, to answer your question. So yeah. Besides, as Shane previously said, they miss Regan. Okay, so basically that's probably a problem for them. But I think that Mali, for instance, I think is just as good as Regan, or at least maybe he's not. Maybe he's not, but that's just how I feel, right? I think he's as good as Regan. And then when I play against Kings with or without Regan, I don't really feel a difference, to be honest. Like, of course, Regan is maybe playing a bit more aggressive and is really skilled, and there is he's playing FPL. There's no question about that. He's a really skilled player, no problem. But I don't feel like Kings are way harder to face when they're playing with Regan instead of Mali. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on there, but I really respect those players because obviously we just always see them. They're really a cool attitude and good players, and I hope that they will come back stronger next season, and we can just go back to our classical Kings against Red Instinct finals, basically.
So for the next season, I think we have a team that will surprise us, because for the next season we have PriFu. So what are your expectations for PriFu in the next season?
I don't know. It's really hard to say, to be honest. I think they've been around. Like we played in Swisscom against them. We
Yeah.
played in Swiss Esports League as well, I think.
No, not this
No, they
season.
were in the
No.
Okay, not
second
this season.
division.
So we already know them. I already know them. I don't know. It's a bit unpredictable, but I don't think they will contend for the top 1 or top 2 in the season. So yeah, they could really do great. That's for sure. But I can't tell much more about it.
Now LyNeX.
I think that they could. Oh, I agree with xReal. I don't think they'll be contending for number 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's impossible.
But if you not impossible, just it's unrealistic.
Okay, yeah.
But to be honest, they played. Even though they were lost in the Hero League, they had some very, very close games against some very good teams. So I would say they will definitely make some upsets happen, 100%. I don't think they'll reach the playoffs because of it, but they'll definitely have the opportunity to make some damage to some teams that they won't reach the playoffs because they got upset by PriFu. So I'm really looking forward to facing them again, because yeah, I would like to still win against them since we only did a 1-1 in the Hero League, but they'll be good, yes, my opinion.
Yeah, I hope they will be good. I like DAO, so I'm cheering for them. That's for sure. So there will be one more team in the Premier Division, not Premier League, like I said in the last video all the time. We will have one more team. Do you have any idea who that could be? Like maybe he will participate in this tournament. He could be like, for me, I hope it's Lustig. I'm cheering for them, that's for sure. Do you have any idea who that could be?
It could be me again. Yeah, well, as you know, I left the team now, obviously, so I'm starting something new if I can, and we won't have any slots basically, I think. So I will probably have to qualify new again. If I need to, I hope it's going to be me. If I do find something that has a SEL or SHL spot, who could it be?
Maybe, I don't know. Sparks
Skills of 100k maybe, or skills of K100, since they only play. I think they only play SEL. They don't play Hero League, do they?
They weren't in the Hero League.
Think so.
I think.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
So they could come and maybe come into do something like that. But otherwise, who could qualify for the Premier Division new would be hard in my opinion. It could be Lustig, but I hope that if we would have to face him, that we will win that, obviously. But yes, Lustig would be an option.
Now, xReal, do you have any idea?
I don't have the slightest idea, but I hope it's gonna be LyNeX. But I've no idea, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know the teams that much, and I don't know how the matchups between them will be. So no idea.
But then we will see that in the future.
Yeah.
So last question is, so 2021 just began. It's the 9th of January today. So what are your wishes for Swiss CSGO in 2021? I think that's a cool question.
Oh yeah, yes.
You want to start?
I can.
Don't make the video 2 hours long.
No. I just hope that
Go on.
that they finally fix certain rules. That I really hope they do. Like xReal said, this day, this time rule, like in SEL and SHL, is a bit. You can't just. I find it hard to force players on a specific date and time, especially during the week, because you have to work. So I find that a bit hard. Otherwise, I hope that Swiss CSGO keeps growing like it did until now. I think it's way better than when I started, and it's getting bigger. For me personally, I would hope for a team that I could finally win and title and beat Kings and Rins for once. That would be my personal dream. But for that, we'll need to work more and practice more.
Anything else, or?
Nope, that's it.
Now, xReal, I think you have one rule that has to be changed as well as a wish.
Yeah, that's like basically. I just want to start by like saying that obviously we're really grateful of playing in the like Swisscom Hero League and in the Swiss Esports League, which is two things that are different. But it is unfortunately not like our living. So there is a huge issue, which is that you basically can't really force players. Like you can do it, of course, but I think it doesn't really make sense to force players that are not like they don't earn enough money to live off it. Like forcing players of showing like at certain hours, certain days, especially since there's so many tournaments matches in one season. It's really really tough, and this is an issue that has been present in both Swisscom and in both and in like the Swiss Esports League. And we've already notified the admins, and they understand. We also understand as players, because I know I spoke with Kings. They are also they also think the same, and I think most of the players and the teams think the same about the situation. Like, yeah, basically, I think we need to find a better rule, because this is just out of hands, especially since we are also playing Counter-Strike in our main teams as well for some of us. And then we just have, like fitting schedule, and I'm not gonna give up an advanced match or like an MDL match that could be way bigger for me just to play in the Swiss Esports League. That's it. And yeah, basically, I think it makes sense, and I really hope that it changes. On the other hand, I really enjoy playing in Switzerland. It's insane. I really hope as well that it keeps growing. Like the Swisscom events were insane. Like it's been like with the COVID situation, it's been not the best the last edition, but I can only hope that this will be fixed and we can resume how it was before. I think the Swiss esports admins are also like doing a really great job, and yeah, basically I'm really happy with everything but those rules that are really weird.
So I think LyNeX froze. Fuck. I hope it doesn't fuck up the overlay. But
Oh really? Oh yeah.
At first I thought.
Unfortunate.
At first I thought, oh fuck, he started to sleep, but shit. Okay, he froze. So in this
Okay.
time, what I want to say is just I wish that the scene gets even more professional, and
Yeah, for sure.
more stable rosters, easier to follow, more content. I hope I will do content for sure. And the scene will grow for sure. Fuck. Okay, Can I fix the overlay? Maybe this time I'm less bad than last time.
I don't know. At least he crashed at the right, like almost at the right time. We were
Yeah, it could
basically
have
over.
been worse, but the
Yeah.
overlay is completely fucked. I don't get. Doesn't matter. Oh shit. But that's okay. We are almost at the end. Maybe he will join, and the overlay is good once again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scene will grow. I'm certain for that, because Swiss CS:GO is really big compared to Swiss League of Legends. I see it in the views. So many people want to watch Swiss CS:GO, even the lower divisions. So I'm really excited. It will be a good year, a revolutionary year, I would say, for Swiss esports. And
I definitely hope so, at least.
it will be, and in the future, yeah. Maybe it won't be the year where we have full-time players. Like, pretty sure it won't
That
be.
would be really good, actually. I really think that, yeah, like having a scene which is composed of people that are like earning a living off the game would be really insane compared to what we have right now, basically. But yeah.
It will completely change the scene. Like, the players will.
Basically, like right now, there is a big issue, which is the fact that since like the players that are on top in Switzerland, obviously like the level in Switzerland is not really high when you compare it to the international level, of course, obviously and the big issue is that the teams that are performing the best, they are not themselves made of people that are paid. So it's really hard for like underdog team to perform, because since they maybe don't have all the motivation from having an org and stuff like this, it's really tough for them, because in the end it's choosing to invest your free time and not getting a lot of rewards immediately for it. So I can definitely understand the lower teams that are struggling to, step up on the long term, because it's a really difficult situation for everybody. So yeah.
I also hope we get new sponsors. That would be cool. Now we
That
have
would be
Brack
really
in
good.
this cell.
Yeah,
Like
that's really
Brack is
good.
pretty insane. Like Digitech completely, they are sleeping. They are disconnected. Like LyNeX now, they are just not in the scene. I don't know why. Or they have these playground tournaments, but sponsor something. Maybe Rivella. I always thought they would even fit under my logo here. Now I'm not sure if we should wait on LyNeX to be back. The last question was just yes, perfect. But what the fuck? Yes, we are back again.
Oh, I hope the quality is somewhat fine.
Yeah, hotspot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. It's completely fine, especially on OBS. Is this a problem? We were just discussing some things that don't matter now. So I just want, but it's good that you're here once again, so we can finish with everyone here. So last question: is there anything both of you want to say? Like always, you can say anything. Just don't be racist, sexist, or anything. But apart from that, I don't give a shit.
I would just like to say thank you for anyone who's still in the Swiss esports scene, and it's especially this year it's been a bit tough with COVID, I would say, but the people that keep the esports scene running, they're doing a really good job in my opinion doing it. So please keep on doing that. Yeah, that's basically it. Just thank you to everyone.
xReal?
Yeah, basically the same from my side. All the casters, all the people that are dedicating their time, and then sometimes their free time to helping. So like basically the admins, casters and stuff like this, really important. It's a really good job they're doing overall. Also sometimes we are disagreeing on certain things. I really appreciate that we have such a strong scene, and yeah, I hope it grows even bigger. And I'm really glad that Swisscom invested into the scene. It's really insane.
I think it would
I agree.
I think, like I said, it will be a revolutionizing year, I would say. Not the year where we go full time, but it will be a very good year. And yeah, thank you really to the people that do all of that, especially to the CSGO community in Switzerland. Like, it's really big. Like, I see it at the views. A lot of people want to watch Swiss CSGO, and I'm really grateful for that. And now, at the end of the show, I have to say thank you to you two as well. I'm really grateful that you come here, even though it was pretty close. I forgot the word. My English is good, but I forgot the word. Urgently, maybe? Doesn't matter.
On a short notice. On a
Yeah,
short notice.
that's good. I'll have to write that down later. So, thank you both to you for being here.
No problem.
And yeah, thank you to the viewers for watching the video. I appreciate it a lot. Watch the finals tomorrow. And yeah, see you next time.